Hi guys, we're talking Pythagorean theorem today. We are on day 1 of a brand new chapter. Our tests went really well last chapter. Let's keep it going. This chapter is all about right triangles. Let me help you remind you what a right triangle is here. It has a right angle. Do you remember this from first semester? Any triangle that has a right angle in it is called a right triangle. And this whole chapter is stuff about right triangles. So today we're learning Pythagorean theorem. You might have seen it in Algebra 1 briefly last year or a couple years ago for some of you. We are solving for sides in a right triangle. So what I need you to understand here is that these are all sides. This is a side, this is a side, this is a side. And they have special names, okay, when it is a right triangle, okay? The side that is across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. Okay, so that is the side that is across from the right angle, and this one right here is always going to be called the hypotenuse. So please don't be confused about the hypotenuse if I twist or turn the triangle, okay, right? This side right here is the hypotenuse. This side right here is the hypotenuse. These triangles are all been twisted and turned, right? This side right here is the hypotenuse. This side is the hypotenuse. This side is the hypotenuse. This side is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side that is always across from the right angle, and we're going to use the letter C to label the hypotenuse, okay? And we're going to use this formula. You've probably seen it or heard of it before, but before I get ahead of myself, the legs are the other two sides, this one and this one, okay? See how I wrote the word leg here? Those are referred to as the legs. They are the sides that touch the right angle. They are connected to the right angle. So right here, those two sides are called the legs, okay? And we use the letters A's and B for the legs, and yes, you can switch the A and the B. The important one is the C, okay? But the other two are going to be called A and B. Let me show you how to do these, and I'm probably going to have to remind you how to do some rounding in the calculator. A lot of these answers will be decimals, and I know we start to panic when we see decimals, but I'm going to review how to round to 1 decimal place because I'm pretty sure that is what the Delta Math assignment will be asking you for. So here we go. That was my dog, Indy, by the way. This side right here is the C. The other two sides are the A and the B. Okay, so again, first thing that I'm doing is I'm labeling A, B, and C according to the triangle. So the side that's across from the right angle is always the hypotenuse, and that's what I'm going to put C next to. And remember, the other two sides, you can switch them, are the A and the B. Okay, so after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this formula. This is a formula that I'm just going to copy down. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, so I'm going to plug in my numbers. Next to A, I have a 6. So I'm going to put a 6 right there. Cool, that's pretty simple. 6, don't forget the squared. Next to the B, I have a 15, so I'm going to put a 15 right there. And next to the C, I have an X. So instead of C, I'm going to put X. And don't forget the squared, okay? One thing that some people forget sometimes is the squared, so don't forget those. And now I just have to do some math, okay? Remember that 6 squared is not 12. 6 times 6 is 36, okay? 15 squared, anybody know that one? It is 225. And I still have my X squared over there. Okay, now I'm going to need my calculator. I'm going to do 36 plus 225. Okay, that's 261. And if you remember how to get the X by itself, here's the fancy thing we have to do. When you square root a square, that's what gets rid of the square altogether, and I need to square root this side also. So down here, I just have X. That's what I'm looking for. When you square root a square, the square goes away. But I need to type square root of 261 in my calculator. Where's the square root? It's in blue, so notice I hit the blue button and then the X squared over there on the left. 261, enter. And this is 16.2. I need 1 decimal place. Yes, a lot of these are going to be decimals, but why did I put 0.2? It's because it's 16.15, okay? The 5 after the 1 bumps the 1 up to a 2. That is why I'm going to remind you how to do some rounding as we go through this video, okay? Let's try another one. Next one, this is the C. The other two are the A and the B, and yes, you can switch those if you want to, okay? But remember that the C is the important part. Step 2, I'm going to write a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Hey, by the way, if I go too fast, hit pause, okay? Catch up. You can rewind. All right, not trying to go too fast, but also not trying to make a really long, boring video, okay? So I labeled my a, my b, and my c, and what did I put next to a? That's the x. So I'm going to put x squared. Okay, what do I have next to my b is 9, so I'm going to put a 9 there. And what do I have next to the c? That's 11, so I'm going to put 11 squared. Okay, x squared plus, I can do 9 squared, don't put 18. 9 times 9 is 81, be careful. 11 squared is 121. And you guys know how to solve this from here, okay? I need to solve, so I'm going to subtract 81 from both sides. And that gives me x squared, and what would that be? 40. Now how do I get the x by itself? I square root both sides. And when you square root a square, that's what happens, and you just get x by itself. Remember, when you square root the square goes away. Okay, and I need to do square root 40 in my calculator. So I'm hitting blue square root 40, enter. 6.32, the 2 after the 3 makes this 3 stay. Remember rounding rules. Raise your hand if you need some help on the rounding. But if the number is 5 or higher, it bumps up. If the number is 4 or less, it bumps down. So since it's 6.32, the 2 lets the 3 stay. Let's do another one. This is the C. The other 2 are the A and the B. Okay, and remember, yes, you can switch the A and the B. The C is the important part. So now I'm going to write a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Next to the a, I have 17, so I'm plugging in 17. Next to the b, I have a 7, so I'm plugging in a 7 right there. Okay, 17 squared. Let me see if I know how to do that one. 17 times 17, enter, 289. 7 squared is 49. Okay, I'm going to add 289 and 49 together. That gives me 338. And now I need to, oh, I never put in an x, did I? Technically, I guess this should be an x. X, sorry. Didn't mean to make that confusing. I've been using c. You can use c, but it should be an x. Sorry, not trying to make it confusing. Now I'm going to square root both sides. So I have x equals, and when I square root 338, I get 18.4. See the 8 after the 3? That bumps the 3 up to a 4. Okay, let's try another one. I'll try not to write the wrong letter this time. There's the C. The other 2 are the A and the B. Yes, you can switch those if you want to. The C is the important part. I'm going to start by writing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. Next to the a, I have a 22. So I'm plugging in 22 right there. Don't forget the square. Okay. Next to the b, I have an x. So I'm going to replace the b with x. And next to the c, I have a 25. So I'm going to replace the c with 25. Okay. 22 squared. I don't think I know that one, actually. 22 times 22. What is that? 484. Plus x squared equals 25 times 25 is 625. I'm going to solve. So I need a minus 484 over. Okay. I've got x squared equals, what is 625? Minus 484, enter, 141. Now I need to square root both sides. And I've got x equals, let's figure out what square root of 141 is. That's going to be 11.9. Do you see the 7 after the 8? That turns the 8 into a 9. Cool. I think I've got 2 more, you guys. If you want, you can pause the video and try and do them, and then check your answers. That's one thing you could do. But remember that the C is across from the right angle. This is the hypotenuse. The other 2 are the A and the B, and you can call either of those A or B. It doesn't matter. Start with the formula. Next to the A, I have a 48, so I'm plugging in 48 there. Next to the B, I have a 20, so I'm plugging in a 20 right there. And next to the C, I have an X, so I'm plugging in an X there. Okay, 48 squared, that's going to be a big number. 48 times 48 is 2304. 20 times 20 is 400. And I still have x squared. I need to add some like terms. That gives me 2704 if you do it in your head, combining these two numbers together. And now I need to square root both sides. Hey, if I go too fast, pause. That gives me x equals, and when I square root 2704, I get, 52, whole number. Now we're panicking because we got a whole number. Sometimes that happens, you guys. We didn't have to even round on that one. All right, last one. This is the C. The other two are the A and the B. I'm going to write a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And my A is 14, so I'm plugging in 14. My B is x, so I'm plugging in x there. Don't forget all the squares, right? We still have all these squares, so don't forget them. And the C was 50, so I'm writing 50. 14 times 14, let me check that one real quick, 196. Plus x squared equals, 50 times 50 is 2500. Okay, I'm going to subtract 196 over. I just have to solve this equation. When I get 2500 minus 196, I get 2304. And now I'm square rooting both sides. And I've got x equals, I think I remember this number from earlier, 48. Boom. Okay. All right, you guys, that is Pythagorean theorem in a nutshell, okay? The only way to really kind of screw this up is if you put the A and the B and the C in the wrong spot, okay? Just remember that across from the right angle is your C every single time. The other two are the A and the B. And then you're just doing some algebra, okay? And you'll have a calculator, and if you get stuck with the rounding, let one of us know. We'll come over and we'll help you, okay? Thanks for watching. Let's get going on our Delta Math assignment, okay?